What do we have? It needs 3/4. Bug tussle needs 3/4. So.
I just wonder if they forgot to change because of the doctors.
Okay, I'll call this meeting to order. Roll call by the county clerk.
We have 24 present and 6 absent.
And Mr. Winnicky is excused tonight. Okay. So, Pledge of Allegiance, could you please lead us, Mr. Zarling?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just take a moment. Please be seated. Compliance with the open meetings law, Mr. Administrator.
We are, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. I will entertain an approval of the agenda with 2 changes. First of all, Pamela Waters from the Literacy Council is sick today and unable to be here tonight, so we will postpone that to another date. And secondly, item 15, the Parks Committee, this resolution is still being worked on, so that will be postponed for another meeting as well. So just strike that. So I have an motion from Mr. Paulson to approve. Do I have a second from Mr. Heights? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the agenda is approved. Approval of the July 9th, 2024 meeting minutes. Mr. Paulson.
I move for approval of the July 9th, 2024 County Board meeting minutes.
A second from Mr. Jaco. Any other questions, discussion, any errors that anybody else might have picked up? Seeing none, all in favor say, Mr. Falker?
I forgot my tablet, so you're gonna have to.
Oh, you're raising your hand. Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. The minutes are approved. Communications.
You should have a treasurer's monthly report, July, which is revised, and then you should have a treasurer's month report, which is a different color. And then you will see the zoning committee notice of public hearing, which will take place August 15th, 2024 at 7 p.m.
Thank you, Audrey. Do you have any public comment concerning anything on the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move along to special order of business. Mr. Waymeyer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Before you tonight, I have resolution number 2425, and last week we had quite a few celebrations to acknowledge Sheriff Milbrath upon his retirement. So tonight we'll have a resolution recognizing Sheriff Paul Milbrath upon his retirement. Whereas Paul S. Milbrath proudly served the citizens of Jefferson County for 43 and a half years, starting his law enforcement career as a deputy in the jail division and culminating with almost 22 years of service as Jefferson County Sheriff. And whereas Sheriff Milbrath, an advocate for lifelong learning, has always emphasized the importance of continuous education, not only for his personal growth, but also for the development of his deputies. This led the sheriff to work in very special details, achieving numerous recognitions and accolades throughout his career. More importantly, the sheriff's commitment to education led to rounded deputies able to adapt to various roles within the sheriff's office, fostering a legacy of excellence, adaptability, and continuous growth. And whereas Sheriff Milbrath was a handler of the county's first K-9 officer, Redmond, and was instrumental in helping to shape the Sheriff's Office esteemed K-9 unit, a unit he holds close to his heart, continuing to find ways to seek funding and support for the current K-9 force. And whereas Sheriff Milbrath was known for his investigatory prowess, where he excelled as a detective and a leader of the Drug Task Force and the Detective Division, his strong investigatory skills and interviewing skills were strongly credited with bringing resolution to the 1994 Rubenberger homicide case and additional countless convictions. And whereas Outside the office, Sheriff Milbreath was known in many as his role as Santa and never missed a chance to bring joy to children and adults alike in this role. And whereas Sheriff Milbreath remiss for his sense of humor, his stylish shoes, his knack for ensuring all knew he was approaching budget season, and his openness to friendly competition in the press, and we can address that one more later. And whereas, while he achieved the highest law enforcement rank in the county, but Paulie never forgot who he was and his home of Helenville, making an impactful servant leader for the citizens of Jefferson County who was committed to improving services and safety in the community. Now, therefore, be resolved, the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors hereby recognizes Sheriff Paul Milbreath's legacy of service in law enforcement in Jefferson County, expresses its deepest appreciation for his unwavering dedication and commitment to the citizens of Jefferson County, and wishes him the best in his well-earned retirement. I respectfully request approval of this said resolution.
So moved. So moved by Mr. Jekyll, second by Mr. Morris. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? He's still here. I think he deserves a round of applause.
Sheriff, you want to come up? I spent a lot of time finding this fancy little thing for you.
I didn't know you were going to say such nice things. I retired sooner. I know Ben had a part in writing this, if not the whole thing, because he put the Paulie part in there. And Ben always thought that was kind of funny to be able to, it's Paulie. As he called them Paulieisms and how I deal with certain things. And it took me a second to figure out the friendly competition in the press. I got it. Joe Niemer and I had a competition to see who could get their picture in the paper the most often. Santa only got half credit, so that was kind of a slacker on that one. But I will tell you this, I will miss this group. I will miss all of the people. Again, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I've talked to sheriffs from throughout the country. I feel like I am one of the most fortunate sheriffs because of the way our county offices work together, the way our county board works together. If you have a question and you don't understand something, instead of making up an answer, you guys actually either stop and see me. Mr. Backlund actually might see me at Winging It on Friday night. We could discuss it there, but there was always open communication. And I was really fortunate to have some good county administrators, good corp councils that really were there for me. Again, couldn't thank Ben enough for all the work he's done in great corp council when we are fortunate to have him. So thank you. If you ever need anything, give me a call. And again, thank you so very much.
The honey-do list is ready.
Started already.
That'll take us to annual reports, library services, Carol Kennedy and Minetta Lippert.
Sent some slides. You know, no slides.
No slides tonight. With our whole technology's down. I'm sorry.
Wow, I'm gonna have to wing it tonight. Okay. Hello, thank you for this opportunity. I'm a little shorter than some of the others attending here. My name is Carol Kennedy, and I'm the director of the Bridges Library System. And I'm here tonight to talk a little bit about the Jefferson County Libraries. But first, before I do that, I want to introduce the new Resource Library Director at Dwight Foster Public Library, Minetta Lippert. And she's new as the director in Fort Atkinson, but she is not new to libraries or Fort Atkinson. She's been at the library since 2012 as a youth services librarian and then also assistant director. So we're really excited to have her as the new director. But I didn't think that within her first few weeks I would say, "Come on up and talk to the
County board.
So I'm going to give a little presentation tonight, but welcome to Minetta. And next year she'll get to be here. I did do a few nice slides for you, but well, I guess we're having some technology issues. So I will just say there was a lot going on in 2023. You have the report, and each of the libraries was able to share a little bit about what was going on in their particular library. But one of the big things that was new was an increase in circulation of 2.7%. So we're really getting that circulation back up. Kind of, I think we're pretty close to where we were pre-COVID. Libraries were hit hard during that time, as many organizations were. So we're really excited to see people back in the libraries and doing all kinds of new and exciting things. You saw seed libraries, new technology, some new ADA improvements at some of the libraries, lots of things going on in 2023. The other thing to note is libraries are circulating both physical books on physical items as well as the digital materials. And we're seeing a significant increase in those digital circulations, although the majority of the circulation is with physical books, audiobooks, and things like that. But a couple things that are were really growing in 2023 and continue to grow. One of them is the Library of Things, and you might have noted that in some of your in some of the reports from the libraries. But libraries are now circulating all kinds of things. One of the most exciting ones is the Explore Passes, so you have opportunities to go to the zoo, to Discovery World, to a lot of different local attractions that sometimes families might not have an opportunity to try out. So you can check your local library for those Explore Passes, but there's also things like a stand-up paddle boards and kayaks and outdoor games. So the library things is big and it's attracting a whole new audience of library users. And by coming and checking those out, they're also discovering all the other things that they love about their library. The other thing is programs. Program attendance has been up. We're seeing lots of people coming to programs, and there's really something for everyone. I was noticing in those annual reports, there are book clubs, craft clubs, cinema clubs, any kind of, if you're interested in a club, you can find one at your library. Lots of children's activities, of course, but lots of things for adults too. So it's exciting to see people back in the libraries and enjoying those types of programs. The other thing of note was all the community partnerships, and I think it's important for everyone to know, if you're looking for a great community partner, your libraries are it. I mean, they're hubs of the community. People feel comfortable going there. They're partnering with all kinds of agencies to help those agencies, but also to bring people into the library. But I think it's just so wonderful to see all of our community organizations working together for the good of their residents. And then just a little look for 2024. What's up in 2024? One of them is foot traffic. It has been a super busy summer. All of your Jefferson County libraries are reporting record summer library attendance and just a lot of people in the library. So we're super excited about that. There's been a library adventure treasure hunt, and if you haven't had an opportunity, you still have all of August, but people are visiting. Many have visited all 24 libraries in the Bridges library system. So we challenge you to come out, and there's maps. You can get to 8 at a time if you want. But people are having a lot of fun with that, and there are prizes to be won. The other thing where there are some building expansions and improvements going on, Whitewater in particular, I think they're breaking ground. If not this month, it's coming soon. But they, in 2023, you might have noted they met their fundraising goal, and so that building will begin the expansion this year. And Lake Mills is also looking at a possible capital campaign for that building. I just drove through Lake Mills, and if you haven't been there, that is such a beautiful library to see. It's pretty amazing, but it's exciting to think about what they might be doing going forward. You're going to see locker materials pickups at Jefferson Public Library, so you can pick up your items 24/7 at their pickup lockers coming soon. We're working on a shared calendar for all the libraries so that you can have access to all the programs at any library and be able to find the ones, I need something on a Tuesday, and you can head over to Fort Atkinson or wherever there's a program that might be interesting to you. We're installing some hearing loops in some of the meeting rooms in your libraries, which will help our patrons with that are experiencing hearing loss at at all the programs they're coming to. We're looking at some catalog enhancements, and then of course we have our new director at Fort Atkinson. So I'm happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, thanks for listening.
Any questions from the floor? Seeing none, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, we have County Clerk Audrey McGraw.
Hello. You guys know this is like Christmas for me, so. Okay, so to the county board supervisors, the past year has been marked by significant milestones and challenges. This has strengthened relationships with our Jefferson County citizens and laid a solid foundation for future growth. I won't spend a lot of time going through my 2023 annual report. Instead, I would like to highlight a few things from 2023. Over the past year, the county clerk's office has continued to evolve, innovate, and excel. Besides myself, my office consists of 1.5 staff. Despite the dynamic market conditions and unforeseen global events, our dedicated team has shown remarkable resilience and adaptability. We have navigated these challenges by staying true to our core values, which include integrity, customer focus, and by continuously striving for excellence in everything we do. Some of our achievements this year include, but are not limited to, the processing of 950 passport applications. This averages approximately 80 applications per month. We also took 1,019 passport photos. This averages approximately 85 photos per month. All of this is done with only 2.5 staff. We processed 420 marriage licenses for mostly happy couples. There was a strong demand for election training. A previous municipal clerk used to perform these but has decided to stop. So the Jefferson County Clerk's Office now offers election training. These have been well attended and met with a positive reception. The feedback has been great, and we are very happy to have taken this over. We had 2 great elections in 2023. Although elections can sometimes feel like a thankless job, we truly strive for excellence. There is no room for error, and in this political climate especially, it has become so much pressure. It might be a cliche, but it's so true that teamwork makes the dream work, and I am so proud of my team. Now I would like to recognize my team. None of these achievements would have been possible without the hard work, dedication, and talent of my employees. Deborah Schradel is my full-time chief deputy, and Jessica Havel is my part-time deputy. As we look to the future, we remain optimistic and committed to our vision of Jefferson County. The coming year will see us focusing on many of the same goals, but mostly giving customers our undivided attention. We also strive to have the best relationships possible with our municipal clerks, whom we work very closely with. And while elections usually throw a curveball of some sort, we are confident that with the continued support of you all, as well as Jefferson County, we will achieve new heights and continue services with the highest integrity. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the county board, our customers and municipal partners, and my employees for your unwavering support and trust. Together, we will continue to build on our successes and navigate the path ahead with confidence and purpose. Thank you.
Thank you, Audrey. Any questions for Audrey? Supervisor Gulick.
Just one question, same question I asked last time. Is there any incidents of voter fraud in the county in the past year?
Nope, we did not have any.
Thank you, and thank you for your work with our elections.
Thank you.
And don't forget to vote tomorrow.
What?
Don't forget to vote tomorrow.
Oh, don't forget to vote tomorrow.
Any other questions for Audrey? Seeing none, thank you, Audrey. Takes us to Finance, Mark DeVries. Without technology tonight, we probably won't have to look at a lot of spreadsheets.
He was all excited.
It's something much more interesting than that. But we'll keep it short tonight because I understand we're having some technology issues. So I'm just going to keep it brief. You all have our annual report that is in the back. Hopefully you picked one up, and I'm not going to go through it. You all can read. But I'm sure that some of you are probably wondering, when's this guy going to cut his hair? Right, Ben? I don't know the answer to that, but can tell you one thing. If you look at the back of my head, you can see my future. So I'm going to try to enjoy it a little bit now while I can, because my days are numbered as far as that's concerned. Like I said, the report is available to you all, and like Audrey said, none of this would be possible without the hard work and dedication of my staff. I have the greatest team that a guy could have, and they are just excellent. And none of this could be possible without the team that we've assembled. They are great, and I love them all. One of the things that I've added to the report this year, and it's on the third page, is a list of reports, and they are the significant reports that we file. There's a lot more than this. I didn't include any of the grant reimbursement reports, but I have a list of those too in case you are interested in. The reason I put this in here this year is because I've been watching the situation with Milwaukee Public Schools play out, and I've been paying very close attention to what's happened out there, and it's made me think a lot about my department's relationship to this board and the trust that you all put in us. And I thank you for that, but I do think there's some level of accountability that we owe to you in terms of specifically, what reports we file on your behalf, when they're due, and whether or not we have filed them timely and accurately. And so I have included a list of the significant reports. All but the top two are what I would consider to be headliners, I guess. If we mess them up in some way, you're going to get headlines, and you're probably going to be some issues with public trust. And so what I want to point out here is that we understand our reporting requirements. We understand when the reports are due. They are being filed on time and accurately, and I want you all to know that in case you get questions from your constituents, similar to what we're seeing over in Milwaukee Public Schools right now. I happen to live in Milwaukee. I did not vote for the referendum. We don't have a referendum coming up that I'm aware of. I think I would know about that. But still, I do think that it's important for you all to know that the reports that we're responsible for filing are happening, and they're happening on time. And here are a list of all of them for you, just in case you get any questions from your constituents. With that, I was going to give a presentation, and last year I gave out a handout that was generated by artificial intelligence on why I love being a finance director. And it was sincere, despite that it was generated by a computer. I did review it. I wanted to give a follow-up presentation on that today because we've moved kind of past this whole abstract concept of what AI could do into what it's actually doing now. And what it is actually doing now is intern level type of work at this point. We have purchased a subscription in the finance department, and we've been using it for the past couple months and trying to find ways to apply it to our workflow. And those are some of the examples that I wanted to show you, and hopefully maybe we can do that in an upcoming session, or maybe in a finance committee meeting if Mr. Jones would like us to do that. But one of the applications is writing minutes. We can write the minutes of the finance committee using AI in a matter of less than 30 seconds. There are things that we need to tweak and review, but all of the minutes can be written amazingly quickly using AI, and you just have to drop in your instructions. And what I typically do is load in the agenda, load in the prior month's minutes, and say, use these agenda items, use the format of the last minutes, and write the minutes for this month, and go back and review them. And nobody's asked any questions about it yet, so it seems to have worked. So that's what I kind of wanted to show you. There's a couple other things that I wanted to do with it too, but like I said, maybe we can do that at a future meeting. But in the meantime, if there are any questions about the finance department, what we do, what our goals are for the upcoming year, I'm happy to answer anything. Or if you have any questions, you can feel free to always stop by my office and ask questions.
Questions for Mark? Mr. Gross?
Yeah, I have one question, Mark. The state sales tax for the first 5 months were pretty flat. What's Jefferson County's?
That's about what we're seeing right now as well. We're going to make our goal, I believe, for this year, which is 8.6 million. But we are definitely seeing a decline in growth from what we've seen in the past. We're still growing, but we're not growing at the rates that we have in the past. And in fact, in many cases, we're in many months, and they're all different, but we seem to be leveling off with sales tax collections.
Any other questions for Mark? Seeing none, thank you very much, Mark. And like he says, his door is always open if you have questions. Thank you. Takes us to Health Department, Elizabeth McGarry.
Hello, everyone. I am not as funny as Mark, and I definitely don't have as great of hair, but I talk really fast, so you won't have to deal with me for too long. The Jefferson County Health Department is fundamentally responsible for carrying out and providing services associated with the foundational areas of public health. And in 2023, our department underwent a restructure of our orgs and our services to make sure everything we were providing fell into one of those foundational areas. So for tonight, I'm going to just give a few brief highlights of each of the foundational areas and kind of what we've accomplished. For our access to and linkage with clinical care division, we provided a total of 387 immunizations to 173 people, and we conducted vision and hearing screenings at the parochial schools and found 65 children with vision concerns and 9 children with hearing concerns. That doesn't sound like a lot, but those are kiddos that likely would not have been recognized as having a concern for many years, which would continue to add to their struggles in school. In our maternal, child, and family health division, we continued to build our prenatal care coordination program, and for many years we were receiving virtually no referrals for that program. In 2023, we had 97 referrals, and we conducted 103 in-person visits. So going from COVID, where we weren't doing anything in person, to 103 is really remarkable. We also recognized across the board that families wanted to feel more socially connected, and to assist with that, we started a breastfeeding support group. We partnered with Human Services and offered a 12-week postpartum depression study, and we also hosted community baby showers where we were able to bring community resources directly to the families that were expecting. Our WIC program also was awarded the USDA Gold Breastfeeding Award of Excellence, and they were one of 2 sites that were chosen to participate in the USDA audit. And for anyone who's been a part of the audit, it's not a fun process, but we did pass with flying colors, and we did all of that while serving 1,105 participants a month, which usually was over 100% of our contracted caseload. We continue to provide car seats, whether we're installing or doing inspections. We conducted 645 lead tests throughout Jefferson County, and we started a lead and water initiative with child care centers where they could sign up and receive free lead and water screening. With our partners, we were able to start an overdose fatality review team where we reviewed 4 different overdoses and developed 8 different recommendations to bring awareness to substance misuse. And with the momentum of that, we were able to, partnering with the medical examiner, bring back our child death review team, which had been on a hiatus from COVID. We distributed 258 boxes of Narcan and 150 fentanyl test strips, and the success of that helped us secure funding for a public health vending machine, which we finally secured a location for, so that will be at the Health Department and Human Services building. We continue to do a ton of inspections in our environmental health program, and I won't go into detail about all of them, but the one thing I did want to highlight is all of those really fun events that we go to every year where there's food trucks. Our environmental health staff is there before the events start, making sure that the food trucks are safe so we don't have a ton of sick people in the community, and I think sometimes we forget all the work that goes into that as well. Our communicable disease control division is always busy. We had over 1,900 cases and 470 confirmed cases. And we continue to work with providers to actually inform us when there are Category 1 diseases so that we can make sure we're providing the important mitigation methods. And ultimately, I could stand up here and go on and on about all of the great work that our team is doing and everything that we've accomplished. But I think the one thing that we accomplished in 2023 that really summarizes it is what happened on November 28th when we went from a level 2 health department to a level 3 health department after our 140 review. I know many of you were in the room when we received that official designation and someone from the state was here, but I think that truly shows our staff's dedication to being a community health strategist, leading in data collection, and really focusing on the social determinants of health and how they impact every member of our community, and then ultimately making sure that we're constantly doing quality improvement as well so we can serve everyone in the way that they need to. 5 years ago, when I started as public health program manager and when you all agreed for me to be appointed to health officer, our goal was to become a level 3 health department. So it is wonderful that we are there, and I applaud all of the work that our team has done. But I also recognize that we wouldn't have made that achievement without the partnerships within our community and the stakeholders, but also ultimately the support that we have from the county board, the Board of Health, and the county administrator. I look forward to what these next 2 years are going to look like as a level 3 health department, since that's a journey I have not navigated before. But ultimately, I look forward to fulfilling our mission of promoting the health, safety, and well-being of all of the residents in Jefferson County. Thank you.
Any questions for Liz? Seeing none, thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Takes us to committee reports, resolutions, and ordinances. Executive Committee. Resolution requesting that the Wisconsin state budget include general purpose revenue funding to cover the full non-federal share of medical assistance, community support program, and crisis services. Mr. Paulson.
Resolution number 2024
26.
26. Executive summary. State law designates counties with the primary responsibility for the well-being, treatment, and care of persons with mental illness. For county-based mental health services, the county finances the cost of the services up front and receives a reimbursement payment for eligible expenses from the Medical Assistance Program, as MA, equal to the federal share for that service, approximately 60%. This means that the county is responsible for the 40% non-federal share, as well as any cost that exceeds the reimbursement payment. In addition, for persons who are not MA eligible, counties pay the full cost of mental health services. The Community Support Program, or CSP, offers intensive community-based care for adults whose mental illness and functional limitations might otherwise require them to need institutionalized care. In 2021, it cost Jefferson County $1,278,745 to run the CSP. And following all reimbursement payments, Jefferson County still saw a deficit of $262,931. In 2022, it cost Jefferson County $1,404,295 to run the CSP. And following all reimbursement payments, Jefferson County still saw a deficit of $321,476. In 2023, it cost Jefferson County $1,784,182 to run the CSP, and though reimbursement numbers have not been finalized, another large deficit is expected. The state also requires that the county provide an emergency mental health service program to serve persons in crisis situations. Since 2020, the state has paid a portion of the non-federal share of this program's cost. In 2021, it cost Jefferson County $423,295 to run crisis services, and following all reimbursement payments, Jefferson County still saw a deficit of $121,049. In 2022, it cost Jefferson County $323,473 to run crisis services, and following all reimbursement payments, Jefferson County still saw a deficit of $105,594. In 2023, it cost Jefferson County $261,234 to run crisis services. And though reimbursement numbers have not been finalized, another large deficit is expected. There is precedent for the state to provide additional reimbursement for programs like these. In 2013, the state fully funded Comprehensive Community Services, CCS, which led to expansion of community-based services. 2013 Wisconsin Act 20 included a provision that required the Department of Health Services to reimburse CCS providers for both the federal and non-federal costs of these services if the services were provided on a regional basis. The Wisconsin County Association had asked for assistance in calling for additional state investment in county community support programs and crisis services. The Executive Committee considered this resolution at their meeting on July 31st of 2024, recommended forwarding it on to the county board for approval. Fiscal note. Passage of this resolution has no immediate fiscal impact. I move for the adoption of this resolution.
Moved by Mr. Paulson, second by Mr. Christensen. Questions, discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Opposed? Hearing none, the resolution passes. Takes us to the next resolution authorizing execution of a memorandum of understanding with the Jefferson County Farm Drainage Board and state municipal financial agreement with Wisconsin DOT for Highway 16 drainage project. And that is this lavender sheet that you should have on yours. Mr. Paulson.
Resolution number 2024-27. This will also be amending the 2024 Land and Water Conservation Department budget. The Jefferson County Drainage Board is a local special purpose entity responsible for operating all drainage districts within Jefferson County. The Drainage Board is responsible for maintaining farm drains and levying assessments for the maintenance cost to landowners within the district. This is a farm drain for District Number 36 located in the State Highway 16 right-of-way in the town of Ixonia that needs to be replaced. Wisconsin DOT has a road improvement project plan in that area in 2025 and is willing to include the replacement of the District Number 36 farm drain in the larger project. Wisconsin DOT requires a county, city, village, or town to enter into a state municipal financial agreement for improvements completed as part of a state bid highway project, which will be the financial responsibility of a municipal entity rather than state or federal funding source. As such, the Drainage Board has requested the county sign the state municipal financial agreement on its behalf so the farm drain can be replaced in the most cost-effective manner. In return, the Drainage Board will enter into the attached MOU with the county, which obligates the Drainage Board to reimburse the county for 100% of all costs incurred by the county for the project, including all payments made to the Wisconsin DOT on behalf of the Drainage Board. This resolution authorizes the county administrator to execute the attached memorandum of understanding with the Jefferson County Farm Drainage Board and to execute a state financial municipal agreement with Wisconsin DOT for the State Highway 16 drainage project. This resolution was considered by the Executive Committee on July 31st, 2024, and the Finance Committee on August 6, 2024. Both committees recommended forwarding to the County Board for approval. Fiscal note. The receipt and disbursement of funds related to transactions shall be accounted for in the Land and Water Conservation Department 2024 budget. The 2024 budget is hereby amended to increase account numbers as printed by $50,000. This is a budget amendment. County Board approval requires a 2/3 vote for your entire membership of the County Board, 20 votes of the 30-member County Board. I move for the approval of this resolution.
Moved by Mr. Paulson. Second by Mr. Jekyll. Questions? Discussion? Seeing none, we need to vote on your tablet here.
There's hydraulic pressure issues all over in the county. You know, are we going to address all the rest of them also?
This one just happens being addressed because they're doing the highway project at this time. So it had to be addressed now while they're doing the road. Any other questions? Then we will vote.
Supervisor Jones? Oh, do you have your tablet? Okay.
You got it?
Yep, just came up. Supervisor Richardson,
Aye.
and Supervisor Felker,
Aye.
Supervisor Herbst,
Aye.
Supervisor Gross,
No.
we have 23 yes, 1 no, and 6 absent.
Okay. Takes us to the next resolution, encouraging Governor Evers and the Wisconsin Legislature to support funding to the Wisconsin Purchase of Agricultural Conservation Easement Program. Mr. Paulson.
That's not land and water, Steve. Up first. They're first. I can't find it. I'll find it.
Page 14.
Found it.
Yeah, page 14, yes.
Resolution number 2024-28, encouraging Governor Evers and the Wisconsin legislature to support funding the Wisconsin Purchase of Agricultural Conservative Easement Program. Jefferson County Strategic Plan calls for support of farmland preservation programs. The Purchase of Agricultural Conservation Easements, or PACE program, enables landowners to voluntarily protect their farmland through permanent farmland conservation easements. When it was established in 2009, the state created a match program to leverage both federal and local dollars, helping to prevent non-agricultural development on Wisconsin's high-quality farmland. The state removed funding from this program in 2011, and though the program still exists, it has not been funded since. Stakeholders across Wisconsin are asking for the state legislature to refund the PACE program to support the future of Wisconsin's agricultural sector and rural economy. 27 states currently provide matching PACE funds. The Land and Water Conservation Committee considered this issue at its meeting on June 19th, 2024, and recommends adding Jefferson County's logo to the advocacy document prepared by American Farmland Trust that will be circulated to the governor and the state legislature, requesting $15 million in funding for the PACE program in the 2025-2027 Wisconsin state budget. The executive committee considered this resolution at their meeting on July 31st, 2024, recommended forwarding to the county board. Fiscal note, passage of this resolution has no immediate fiscal impact.
Is there a motion for the approval of this?
Oh, yeah, I move to approve this resolution.
Do I have a second? Second by Supervisor Turfel Heights. Questions, discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
No.
Okay, takes us, I was informed by our corporate counsel that item D here will be postponed. Takes us to item 12. Finance Committee, ordinance amendment to the rules of reimbursement of expenses. Supervisor Jones.
Ordinance number 2024-8.
Yes.
Jefferson County Ordinance number 64 sets forth the rules for reimbursement of expenses for members of the county board, the county administrator, county elected officials and their deputies, members of committees, boards and commissions, and authorized county employees. Section 64.06 includes specific rates for meal reimbursements, which have not been revised since 2014. This ordinance amendment increases the meal reimbursement allowances to provide for reimbursement of up to $10 for breakfast, $15 for lunch, and $25 for dinner. The Finance Committee considered this ordinance amendment at its meeting on July 2nd, 2024, and recommended forward to the County Board for approval. Fiscal note. In 2023, the total county budget for meals was $20,140, and actual expenses were $12,843. In 2022, the total county budget for meals was $20,466, and actual expenses were $8,046. Increasing the meal allowance is not expected to have a significant impact on the county budget. Mr. Chair, I move for passage of this resolution.
Moved by Mr. Jones. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Drana and Mr. Christensen. Questions? Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. They all want to eat. Okay. Takes us to item B, resolution, final resolution regarding unconditional county guarantee of its pro rata share intergovernment agreement and taxable revenue bond financing for Bug Tussle 2 LLC project. Mr. Jones.
Resolution number 2024-29. At its meeting on June 11th, 2024, the County Board of Supervisors approved an initial resolution with authorized Jefferson County to participate with other counties in an intergovernmental agreement to finance a project for the acquisition, construction, and installation of certain telecommunications infrastructure for the purpose of providing wireless, internet, and telephone communication services to business, governmental units, and residents of rural communities where such service is currently unavailable or prohibitively expensive. The initial resolution expressed Jefferson County's intent to proceed with the project and negotiate the necessary related agreements, subject to a final resolution at a future meeting. The final resolution authorizes Jefferson County to participate with Fond du Lac County in issuing revenue bonds in the amount not to exceed $250 million, of which up to $5 million will be on behalf of and guaranteed by Jefferson County, with the remainder guaranteed by other participating counties. This final resolution further authorizes Jefferson County to execute an intergovernment agreement with other participating counties and various other instruments necessary for the project, including but not limited to an unconditional guarantee and reimbursement agreement. Bug Tussle and its parent company, Hilbert Communications, will have primary and secondary obligations to pay debt service on the bonds. Each county will be required to guarantee the payments of its proportionate share of the bonds should Bug Tussle and Hilbert Communications fail to make payment. The Broadband Working Group and the Finance Committee considered this final resolution at their meeting on July 18, 2024 and August 6, 2024. Both recommended forward to the County Board for approval. Fiscal note. In the event of the default by Bug Tussle 2, the Debt Service Reserve Fund will pay any interest and principal immediately due to bondholders. At that time, Jefferson County would be responsible for replenishing the Debt Service Reserve Fund. Hilbert Communications would be responsible for reimbursing Jefferson County for any amounts drawn from the Debt Service Reserve Fund. Should Hilbert Communications default on its obligation to Jefferson County will assume ownership of the assets financed with the bond proceeds. In exchange for the risk assumed by Jefferson County, Bug Tussle 2 will pay to Jefferson County a fee for its guarantee of the bond payments of 40 basis points times Jefferson County's prorated share of the outstanding bond obligation. At the time of issuance, this fee equates to $20,000 per year and will decline over the term of the bond in proportion to the outstanding debt balance. Because this fee has a limited term and declining balance over time, it is recommended that the fee be treated as a one-time revenue and deposited into the Capital Projects Fund for the purpose of funding future one-time capital purchases. Mr. Chair, I move for passage of this resolution.
Second.
I have a second from Mr. Backlund. Questions, discussion? This requires a 3/4 vote. So we have tablet.
Supervisor Richardson?
Aye.
Supervisor Herbst?
Aye.
Supervisor Gross?
No.
Supervisor Felker?
Aye.
We have 23 yes, 1 no, 6 absent.
Thank you. It is passed. Takes us to item C, resolution accepting funding from Wisconsin Tobacco Prevention Control Program, Wisconsin Wins, and amending the 2024 Health Department budget. Mr. Jones.
Resolution number 2024-30. The Wisconsin Tobacco Prevention and Control Program, Wisconsin Wins, is a proven education, outreach, and inspection program for tobacco and vape retailers that assess the state. The goal of the program is to reduce the impact of commercial tobacco at the community level by preventing underage sales and youth initiation of tobacco use. This is completed through education on tobacco sale laws, recognizing retailers who are complying with the laws, and partnering with the local law enforcement to enforce the laws. Wisconsin Wind funding is used to conduct compliance checks, media outreach, and public outreach in each county jurisdiction. In 2019, the Tobacco Coalition of Dodge and Jefferson counties did not apply for Wisconsin Wind's funding. This left Dodge and Jefferson County unfunded. The American Lung Association agreed to take over the Wisconsin Wind's contract and has utilized the subcontract agent to carry out the requirements of the grant. The Wisconsin Department of Health Services primarily contracts with local public health departments to conduct the Wisconsin Wind program, and Jefferson County was approached by DHS to take over the contract for Dodge and Jefferson County. After discussion and approval from Dodge County Health Department, the Jefferson County Health Department was awarded a total of $9,009 in grant funding from the Wisconsin Tobacco Prevention and Control Program, Wisconsin Wins. The Jefferson County Health Department will serve as the fiscal agent for both Jefferson and Dodge counties. Jefferson County was awarded $4,312, and Dodge County was awarded $4,697. Jefferson County anticipates contracting with an agent to fulfill the grant requirements in both counties. This resolution authorizes Jefferson County to accept the Wisconsin Winds funding, served as the fiscal agent on behalf of Jefferson and Dodge County, and amend the 2024 budget accordingly. The Board of Health considered this resolution at its meeting on July 17, 2024, and the Finance Committee considered this resolution at its meeting on August 6, 2024. Both bodies recommending for this resolution to the County Board for approval. Fiscal note, acceptance of this grant will increase appropriations in the 2024 Health Department budget by $9,009. This is a budget amendment. County Board approval requires a 2/3 vote of the entire membership of the County Board. Mr. Chair, I move for passage of this resolution.
Moved by Mr. Jones. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Coots. Questions? Mr. Brogler.
Should I assume that once this money is spent, then there's no county money involved?
Liz, you want to go to a mic and answer the question? Thank you.
That is correct. Once the money comes in, it goes straight to the subcontracted agent, and then once it's gone, there is nothing that comes out of our budget.
Any other questions? Seeing none, we vote on your tablets. Roll call vote.
Supervisor Richardson,
Aye.
Supervisor Herbst,
Aye.
Supervisor Gross,
Yes.
Supervisor Felker.
Aye.
We have 24 yes, 0 no, 6 absent.
Thank you. The resolution passes. Takes us to item 13, Highway Committee Ordinance Amendment to the Jefferson County All-Terrain Vehicle ATV and Utility Terrain Vehicle UTV Route Ordinance. That would be this blue sheet that you have available. Mr. Jaco.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ordinance number 2024-9. Jefferson County Ordinance number 2021-01 outlines the approved routes for the ATV, UTV usage in Jefferson County and sets forth the rules for operation on county ATV, UTV routes. Jefferson County requested approval from the Wisconsin Department of Transportation to add segments of state highway to ATV, UTV routes. This ordinance amendment adds the segments of state highway to approved routes to allow for bridge crossing. It also makes minor updates and revisions to the existing language for clarity. The Highway Committee considered this ordinance amendment at its meeting on July 30th, 2024, and recommended forwarding it to the County Board. You can see all the changes in the red, and Section 5 gives you the best outlay of the four that are being asked to be approved for tonight, in fiscal note, there is passage of this ordinance has no immediate fiscal impact. I move for passage of this ordinance.
The second was by Mrs. Supervisor Backlund? Is that what? Okay. Questions, discussion? Supervisor Lund.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have a question. It's on page 2 of the language of the proposed changes to the ordinance. The Jefferson County Highway Committee shall have the authority to suspend operation on any county highway, et cetera, in emergency situations. Is this something that's feasible for the Highway Committee to be responding to conditions in emergency situations, or are there other provisions for that?
Mr. Jekyll?
It's been talked about in the committee, and the highway commissioner is also part of the traffic safety committee, so that's where that item comes in at. We would have first comment back on it to see, because they're going to see the traffic studies. I mean, I guess Mr. Hunter could maybe even answer it better, but I think that's the gist of that thought of it, that we could act on it faster to, take that route out of service if something bad happened, like, a lot of fatalities or bad accidents or something, that way. We would say, hey, this is not a good route. We want to take it off the list.
So if something bad happened in the highway committee, is the highway committee the only entity then can respond, and can you respond fast enough to an immediate emergency situation?
To me, that would be a sheriff's department issue at the time. They're talking about any long-term issue where they would take it off the route. Short-term, it'd be like any other traffic that the sheriff's got to stop for a car accident or anything else. Yep. I have one question, Supervisor Jekyll. When I was campaigning last year, we had several folks out in my neck of the woods who were looking at Highway 113. It connects to county road with a township road, and there's a small section there, and part of it's in Dane County, part of it's in Jefferson County, and I just want to know if you guys had any discussion on that piece.
You mean 134 and
134,
there?
not 130.
I know that has been talked to with the highway commissioner. I've also asked for a section out in my neighborhood, or actually Matt's, Mr. Falker's neighborhood, and the state says if there isn't a bridge crossing, they're not going to allow it at this time. So we're holding off to see if state law changes on some of that too. That's why there was only 4 of them brought forward tonight, because otherwise we actually had 5 or 6 of them total to come, but there was a couple that the state turned down right off the bat because there's not a bridge crossing, and that's part of the state law right now.
Okay. Thank you very much. You answered my question. Thank you. Let's take this to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none. The resolution passes. Takes item 14, Human Resources Committee, resolution funding the nurse prescriber position full-time and authorizing flexible hiring options in the Human Services Department. Supervisor Brogler.
Resolution number 2024-31. The nurse prescriber position within the Behavioral Health Division of Jefferson County Human Services was created to ensure the provision of essential medication services to our client. Initially funded part-time based on the incumbent's availability, the position needs to be transitioned to full-time upon the incumbent's retirement in October. Due to the market for this position, Human Services seeks authority to explore flexible hiring options for this position necessary. This would allow the nurse prescriber's role to be filled by 1 traditional employee using the county's pay grade structure, 2 an employee via an employment contract outside of the county's pay grade structure, or an independent contractor. This resolution seeks to 1 approve full-time funding for the nurse prescriber position, 2 authorize the county administrator to hire the position as an employee with contract or an independent contractor, depending upon recruitment outcomes and candidate preferences. 3, permit hiring outside the assigned pay grade under employment contract if necessary. Confirm that the position is fully funded through insurance, Medicaid, Medicare, and Medicaid reimbursements with no additional tax levy requirement. Note, an employee with a contract works for the organization under a formal agreement that includes salary, benefits like health insurance and retirement plans, job duties, and length of employment. They follow the organization's policies and are considered part of the team. In contrast, an independent contractor is self-employed and hired to complete specific tasks as outlined in a contract. They do not receive employee benefits, handle their own taxes and insurance. This arrangement offers flexibility for the organization to meet workload demands. U.S. labor laws distinguish between these two based on factors like control over work, the financial relationship, and nature of the work, ensuring compliance with employment criteria. The Human Resource Committee and the Finance Committee each considered this resolution at their meetings on July 29, 2024 and August 6, 2024. Both recommended forwarding the county board for approval. Fiscal note, the nurse prescriber position within the Behavioral Health Division is fully funded through a combination of insurance reimbursements, Medicare, and Medicaid. These funding sources cover the entire salary and associated costs of the position, ensuring that no additional tax levy is required to support this plan. This is a budget amendment. The county board approval requires a 2/3 votes of the entire members of the county board, 20 of the 30-member county board. I move for passage.
Moved by Mr. Brogler, second. Second by Mr. Paulson. Questions, discussion? Seeing none, vote on your tablets, please.
Supervisor Richardson,
Aye.
Supervisor Herbst,
Aye.
Supervisor Gross,
Aye.
Supervisor Felker.
The
We have 24 yes, 0 no, 6 absent.
resolution passes. Item 15 was postponed, so it takes us to item 16, Planning and Zoning Committee, report approval of positions. Supervisor Jekyll.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Report to the honorable members of the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors. Jefferson County Planning and Zoning Committee, having considered petitions to amend the official zoning map of Jefferson County, filed for public hearing held on July 18, 2024, as required by law pursuant to Wisconsin statutes. Notice thereof having been given and being duly advised of the wishes of the town boards and persons in the areas affected, hereby makes following recommendations. Approval of petitions as listed, dated this 29th day of July 2024, Blaine Paulson, Secretary. And with your acceptance, I will move on to ordinance number 2024, number 10, amending the official zoning map of Jefferson County. The Jefferson County Board of Supervisors is heretofore been petitioned to amend the official zoning map of Jefferson County, and whereas petitions as listed were referred to the Jefferson County Planning and Zoning Committee for a public hearing held on July 18, 2024, whereas proposed amendments have been given due consideration by the Board of Supervisors in open session. Now therefore be it ordained Jefferson County Board of Supervisors does amend the official zoning map of Jefferson County as listed. I move for adoption of this ordinance.
Move for adoption. I have a second. Second by Mr. Paulson. Questions, discussion? Supervisor Kennard.
I'll abstain for potential conflict of interest.
Thank you. Supervisor Brogler, you had your hand up?
I have a series of questions. When the two different entities meet, which supersedes the other, like the county or the local town and board? How often do we go against the town board's preferences? And is this particular ordinance consistent as we've been in other similar situations? And is it normal to put out a press release for something like this?
None of that is part of this ordinance. Everything that you brought up is not in this ordinance. Is not in this ordinance that we're going to pass.
The parcel under question?
The parcel under question is because it's not a rezone.
But can I have my answers?
Sure. George, would you like to start, or shall I?
I'll defer to you. You've been at it just a little longer than I have.
You can go ahead, Niall.
Danielle,
What would
please.
you prefer?
Well, I just want to make sure as you go through this conversation of the questions that are in front of us tonight, you see some technical differences between what a rezone is and what's in case related to this A3 question at hand. They're two different processes from a legal standpoint because one has already been zoned and one is a rezone. And so the processes are slightly different. So I'll go from that.
The process for this is similar to a conditional use where it just comes to the committee and doesn't go to the full county board. We listen to their recommendations, sometimes incorporate them, sometimes partly incorporate them, and sometimes we just have to follow the rules. And so that's the reason for the press release, to explain that. Supervisor Turville Heights.
Hi, I just had a quick question. I had received, which I think other people also received, a letter describing concerns about that process when it comes to splitting the A3s. And I just want to make sure whether or not that concern is being addressed, because since we're using some of these as petition numbers, I'm not really sure if we're even addressing the ones that were raised as a concern.
We are not, because it's not a rezone.
Okay. So,
It's already zoned A3. They're just adding another house to that particular.
okay, so they're not having to come through and having the map changed or anything like that?
No, it's a map change would be an ordinance change.
Okay,
And thus it would come to the county board.
okay.
Supervisor Christensen.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chair. I have a question that probably could wait until the zoning, a zoning meeting, but I'm wondering if this will come up, how would I be able to address that at a zoning meeting? My question.
Just have the chairman put it on a meeting, or you can just be there as part of public comment, or either way.
Because I'd like to get an answer, so I don't know if public comment will really work.
No, then just ask the chairman to put it on the agenda.
I'll do that, or I'll just talk to him directly.
Sure.
Thanks.
George is always very accommodating. Any other questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
No.
Takes us to appointments by county administrator. Mr. Waymeyer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First one is under authority vested in me in section 59.18, parent 2, parent C of the Wisconsin statute. I respectfully request confirmation of Christopher Rutan, our surveyor, to the Land Council Council for an indeterminate term. Respectfully request confirmation of this appointment.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Supervisor Drana. Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, the appointment is, and
So the second one is a department head appointment tonight, and our new emergency management director pending confirmation vote tonight is here. Tracy Hammond is in the back. She is currently the La Crosse County Emergency Management Director, and prior to that, she worked in Sauk County as well. As I often try to do, I try to explain our process briefly to the county board, how we got to this point. So we went through 2 rounds of interviews for this role. Our first round included a representative of the local law enforcement community, the vice chair of the law enforcement committee, a representative of the local emergency planning committee, a rep from HR, and then myself. Then our second, and Donna was also engaged in part of this process, the outgoing emergency management director. Then our second round, the finalists got to do some homework for us as well, so they got to do a presentation, but that included the head of the Fire and Chief Association for EMS. We also had Sheriff Milbreath as a part of that process. We included the chair of both the Law Enforcement Emergency Management Committee and the LEPC process. So I bring that forward because we had quite the panels that we went through that process. And I think we had some great finalists, and Tracy definitely came forward. We'll be looking at some other recommendations for that department coming forward. So with all that being said, by virtue of the authority vested in me in section 59.18, parent 2, parent B, and because it's emergency management, Wisconsin statute 323.14, I respectfully request confirmation of Tracy Hamnu as our next emergency management director for an indeterminate term. I respectfully request confirmation of this appointment.
So moved.
so moved by Mr. Morris, second by Mr. Dagner. Questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Welcome, Tracy. And I'll take one speech.
I'm honored to be here tonight and to be have been chosen as the new EM director. I will miss Donna. I knew her personally, just in the EM world, so she is retiring. And I'm excited to be here and bring some of the experience and knowledge that I've had in prior employment to the county. So I'm starting in a few weeks, 26th of August, so.
And La Crosse has more than one river that floods on occasion too.
We have
Yes.
a really big one. Yes. I officially resigned last Tuesday, so
Well, welcome aboard.
thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Tracy. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. I just want to backtrack 1 second here concerning Mr. Brogler's questions and Supervisor Trevor Height's question. If you want this better explained to you, please go down to the zoning department. This is our findings of fact on this particular the question that you brought up, and explains all the steps that went into this and how the decision was made as it was. But it's about 5 pages long, so feel free to stop down, and Mr. Zangler, one of the staff, can get you a copy of our findings and facts that explains the whole situation to you. Thank you. With that, any public comment of a general nature? I didn't have any listed. So announcements. There is Brew with a View coming up. Oh,
Got it. That's all.
Brew with a View this Thursday night, or not this week, next week Thursday night, the 22nd, correct?
Yeah, 22nd on Thursday, from 5 more or less till 8. And I think the band is a description of the land around the county. Is it Soggy Bottom? Something like that. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Any other announcements? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment. Motion by Mr. Jaco, second by Mr. Gulig. This is not debatable. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Come here. Come here. Hey, you, come here.
Yes.
All right, step into my office.
Thank you, I will.
Tonight was good. Oh, I know all about it.
But our zoning, that isn't, there wasn't a rezone. Like the papers were all. So you got to make Lloyd feel good. Lloyd, I got his paper where he signed it. Who held the gun to him?
In the figure. But it takes all the pressure off the farmland. That's why we do
Yeah, I think it's limited. You can only.
Well, I know, but they're saying that this doesn't follow our plan. That's total bullshit.
I'm thirsty.
Yeah.
Came from football practice, showered and blew over here, so I'm thirsty.